Holiday greetings, fellow Smokies. Okay, some real talk now. The holidays aren't joyful for everybody.
If you know someone who's going through a hard time right now, reach out. You might not be able to fix their problem, but you can let them know someone is there for them.
Definitely. I mean, having a shoulder to cry on could make all the difference this holiday season for someone. Have a safe and happy holiday.
Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark! And this is Smokey, Steve, and Mark. Welcome or welcome back. It's good to be here. Nice to see you. Nice to be seen. So tonight we're doing a bit of an offbeat. Steve will try it. And we're going to go a little bit deep. Not too deep, but a little bit deep in talking about the idea of gratitude. It's something that came late in my life to practice as something on a regular basis. To try to delineate the things I'm grateful for, things I've earned versus things I was blessed with, all that kind of stuff. And how this all came up was I've been in rehab about 6 times. And there's a couple different sayings that float through 12-step theology. One being, a grateful heart will never drink or use. So someone who's truly grateful won't do that to themselves. Attitude of gratitude, it's not just a platitude, it's a big thing among all the 12-step circles. So it only came onto my radar as that. I was raised Christian, and it was part of that too, usually on a more guilty side. I'll mention that in a second. So gratitude in general is considered just a feeling of well-being, a feeling. You know, you'll hear people say, gratitude's an action word, and you can make grateful actions. Being grateful or receiving it on your end too. We should all hopefully be humble enough to receive some help as much as we easily give it. We don't think poorly of the people we help. We shouldn't be feeling poorly of the people who may help us from time to time. It's all like this. It's all like that. You can also potentially sleep better, have lower diastolic pressure. There's been some studies, some good, some not so good, but some good, that say that if you practice it, it brings peace of mind. The one thing I can say is it's never turned on me. You know how even if you're a healthy, stable person, but you're going through a rough patch, you can take great advice, turn it on its head, and screw yourself over even more? You know? I would do that too, to try to ruin it for myself. But gratitude being part of those programs kind of stuck with me. Some of the stuff I left with the room stuck with me a little bit. So just to take a look back, I wanted to talk about some big things of the last year I'm grateful for, some little things, and then some others. So let's just start at the beginning. It's a very good place to start. And so gratitude for the big things. What did 2023 look like? Well, Mark and I'm going to be mentioning him because, ride or die, we're married, so everything I'm having feelings about, he's having them as well. Maybe not identical feelings, but close enough, and we, support each other on it. Big thing that happened in the last year that we were grateful for, we didn't end up homeless. April of this year, the building we were living in next door was condemned, and Mark and I had help to go stay in a hotel for a few weeks until we were able to move in here. Now that sounds like a really not too much of a story, kind of nonchalant. Good thing it happened because it could have been worse, sure. But all the things that happened along the way, right when we found out, called my parents. They were there immediately. They were there to take the cats. They were there to help out. So there was that. The guy from License and Inspection, who was very, very nice about what could have been a very, very awful situation at the time. I said at the end of it, I was like, I don't want to ever see you again, but thank you for delivering this as kindly as you could. And so there was no escape from the shitty situation, but there were peaks among it. We found out going down to get some resources that we were going to be able to stay in a hotel someone else was going to be able to pay for, because it was a bad time to be between paychecks. And 6 months after a wedding, we didn't exactly have a lot of money sitting around. And they had provided us with some help for that too. So I try to think of the big things like that, because that's a handout. That's a gimme. That situation could have played out so many different ways, so many worse ways. And I've watched it happen to other people, because we weren't the only people. We didn't have our apartment condemned. It was a whole building. So a lot of us were in it together. Like, oh, what are you doing? Did you find a new place? Are you going to one of the landlord's old places? And then having other people there for support was a big thing too, because we were all getting screwed over in the same way. So it was to have other people validate your feelings and say, yes, it feels wrong to me too. I'm upset too. Here's what I'm planning to do. So the kind of camaraderie of it was something to be grateful for. So it took an awful situation and spun it on its head. Then we get to moving. Who are we going to help? You know, Mark, if you add all our ages together between Mark and my parents, I think we're 300 years old. So I'm not sure how much we could do, but we had help from our neighbor getting into this building, from my parents coming to Mom with her little red wagon, pulling stuff up and down the sidewalk because she's got a bum leg that she's not taking care of, Mom. And they were able to help too. Mark had friends and coworkers who were able to help us. So people, like, sometimes if you're in a low self-esteem, or you kind of feel like I'm not worthy of other people's generosity, I'm not worthy of their time, or you can't take a compliment, or you feel guilty about things like that. And what gratitude does is put a period there and just say thanks. Not thanks, I don't deserve it. Not thanks, but you shouldn't have. Not thanks, but please take it. Just thanks. And just leave it there. Interestingly brought up, I don't know if you guys have heard of the author Maria Hornbacher. She did a few books for Hazelden on recovery. One of them was Mental Illness, Addiction, and the 12 Steps, and the other was Waiting, a Non-Believer's Higher Power. And I'm a big fan of Maria's. I've had a chance to meet her. She does a lot of great work. It's mostly written from a non-believer's perspective, which is unique within the recovery communities. So I sent her a text one time on her Facebook account saying, "Hey Maria, I went to a book reading forever ago. I just started working in mental health. Thanks for the help." She writes back. She says, "That's so great. I'm working on a new book. I'm going to be on the East Coast. Do you want to meet up with Mark and you can tell me your story?" She was compiling stories for a book at the time that she had pending coming out. I think it was from, not Hazelden, it was like HarperCollins or something. And we were going to be in it. So we went from, Mark shooting up with puddle water and me drinking Listerine in a bathroom at a Burger King at noon. Not that at 9 it would have been better, but at noon it just felt so much worse. That we were now going to be presented as one example of people living with their challenges and doing it kind of like their way, if you know what I mean. So, so much through there. The gratitude from that popped up with that Maria saw things that were good about our lives that I didn't see. We did the interview and then we had dinner afterward and we just chit-chatted and stuff. And I was sitting there thinking, how fortunate. I'm here with my boyfriend, who I would have died and fell on my sword for 3 years earlier. Here with my favorite author, favorite artist, getting to talk about their work, and they're interested in how I'm doing. I geek out. I'm not big on celebrities, but I like to read. So another good thing, another, blessing that comes with it. There's so many things there that were fortunate for me that I didn't earn. You don't earn your blessings necessarily. I mean, some people think you do, but I think they just come when they come. And they come from above. They come from other people. They come from my pets. So, example of big thing is that we were caught as we were getting thrown into the street, and everyone who caught us is a subject of my gratitude. Plus the systems in place that were there to look after us, the ability we were able to be there because we had a little more security to kind of be there for the other people who were there because they were freaking out because you get, evicted on the wrong week and it's not pay week and you don't have savings. So many of us are just a couple paychecks from broke, homeless broke. So we were very fortunate to weather that. So that's a big thing. Little things would be, well, I guess it's a little thing. friends that I was getting in touch with after, because we got married in 2022. So during the course of the year, people I had seen at the wedding had messaged me and were talking to me, and it's people I hadn't talked to or seen, some of them, in like 20 years. And I remember thinking at the wedding, big gratitude, we'll go to little next, I was like, I can't believe you came. So much time has passed. I thought it was just too long that we weren't friends anymore. And then, ta-da, people show up. That was a big gratitude smack in the face. Like, for your whole life, you think, well, I haven't talked to them in 20 years. We must have had a bad falling out. We didn't. We just stopped calling each other. But everything was fine. And I couldn't believe so many people showed up, for us. Wow. Big thing. Little things going through, which could be big things. Some can argue that it's all little things. There's no big things. But smaller things that happen even on the day-to-day through the last year. I've had the opportunity to work from home about half the time. This last couple months, I've been in the office more often than not, and it's been helpful for the kind of work, because we're at the fourth quarter, end of the year. It's been nice. Somebody brought a radio in at work. It just takes the edge off of something like that. We're going for coffee. It's on the boss. Who wants some? I didn't earn that coffee. I just got it because they're, you know what I mean? So things that I should be grateful for and not necessarily feel entitled to. I'm really not entitled to shit. No matter how entitled I may come off sometimes. Bottom line is I'm not entitled to any more than anybody else. I kept my blessings where I get them. And besides just having, big events, smaller day-to-day things to think of, oh God, the coffee's good today. Oh man, I had a nice little conversation with that new person at the copier. That went nice today. Oh look, there's no line at Giant. Now, I don't affect those outside things, but the fact that they went well, I am happy for that fact. How they were directed, I don't know. I don't do theology too well. But if it's been kindness has been shown to me, it's usually the thing I'm most grateful for, because I have a fear that everyone I walk up to is going to have a confrontation with me, and that I have to be ready to fight or flight with my words in some sort of way. Not so much. So the last thing is being grateful for challenges I don't have, for things I have that I literally did nothing to earn them. They were birthright. And they've been things that have made life easier for me, too. I grew up with two parents in a single, both married household, 3 kids. Parents are still married, so those ideal family structures, I had one of those growing up. I was born in the Western world, where poor looks very different than poor other places in the world. So, my most impoverished day here might be better than somebody's best day in Felicidade Eterna, or similar. So trying to be grateful for the things that aren't in my way, because they are in other people's way. Things like freedom, fresh water, food. Gratitude being that if you have more than you need, you don't build a wall, you build a longer table to give back what was so freely given to you, to me, as we've had our blessings along our life. It's one thing that also I found to do. It's one of the only practices that I kept from 10 years ago. It was my first year in recovery. I did everything by the freaking book. I'm like, if this is going to fail, I'll give it 6 months, and then I'm going back to the mouthwash. And by the time 6 months had gone by, I had so much more of a life, it almost seemed like I can't get sick now. I have too much to do. I can't get drunk now. I have too much to do. Now, it's not so easy, of course, as that. But even as something like that, there's a lot of different ways a person's life can look if they're living with addiction, or if they've lived with addiction. They may have been set back a decade in their career, or have immature relationships because they were busy doing other stuff when they were growing up. And I didn't have those challenges. Those weren't in my way. I didn't have to worry as much about money. We didn't have a lot growing up, but we had enough. There was a focus on education. My grandfather, my dad's dad, had, just get an education. They can't take it away from you. Whoever they are, I don't know, but they can't take your education. So we all had education. My brother has 2 degrees. My sister has 2. There's PhDs and masters all mixed in. And I was able to finish college too. I was, and it wasn't easy. And I recall being, working full time, paying my own rent in college while living somewhere else on $9 an hour. Even in the early 2000s, $9 an hour was not a lot of money to be living in Center City, Philly. But I fell into these situations where the best possible thing kept happening. So I was going to where I was supposed to be. And in all these places too, it's the people. By and large, whether it's the little things, the things that stay out of your way, or the big things, the people are the best. It's the friends you make along the way, really. And to some degree, that's true. Some of the closest people I've met in my most down, somewhere between like down luck, self-pity, depression, like all of that stuff comes in. Self-centeredness. That's why I think Chantal's sick. Anyone that's self-centered has other stuff going on with them that they need to sort out. Well, I can say I had other stuff in me that I needed to sort out when that was going on. So, as we wrap, I will say what I'm grateful for the channel, actually, this holiday season. I'm very, very grateful for all the viewers we've had since the beginning, all the people who jumped in along the way, people who give good feedback, people who give critical feedback, people who give anything, who put a heart in the comments section, who share their views with us, who share the videos they like with other people. We didn't earn that. Like, we don't have the right to that stuff. That's something we come out, do our thing, and if people appreciate it, they join and they watch and that kind of stuff. So it's much more authentic to me that way. And, you know, people don't have to pay at the moment. You know, anybody can come and chit-chat in the chats and that kind of stuff. So to that end, I really like it. I like the way our channel goes. I like the speed of it. I like the size of it. I like the people that we meet. And again, there's 300,000 million people out there trying to have a YouTube channel, trying to either connect with people or make a name for themselves or make a living or whatever they do with it. It's been just perfect for us. It's opened up our social circle, given us a hobby, something to do, goals to work towards, goals with financial, not just financial, numerical things attached to it. This many views, this much revenue, this many hours viewing, this, that, so I can see. I don't just have to feel lucky. There's some empirical data that says things are going well. So I'll trust that. I'm a science guy, so we'll go with that. So that's my gratitude. And I found that actually keeping a gratitude journal once a night, 3 things on it. Don't go ape shit. Don't make it hard. If you're a smoker and it takes you longer than smoking a cigarette, you're doing it wrong. Real quick, what am I grateful for? If you got a pillow, pillow's fine. If you woke up this morning, that's fine. Some days we don't have much to hold on to, and that's okay. But every day I keep waking up. So far, so good. We're here. And it's out of my hands for the most part. So gratitude for that bit of knowledge is less. You don't feel like I have to control so many things in the world when I'm making the gratitude list. There's things that I thought about all day. And if I think about for 1 second more, my head's going to burst. Put it down. Go away. Look at it again maybe tomorrow night. And I'm like, that was monopolizing all my thinking time for 6 hours yesterday evening. Nothing bad came of it. Actually, it was a pretty good outcome. Blah, blah, blah. So gratitude buys me peace of mind as well. That however things turn out, eventually in the end, they're going to be okay. That love wins. So before I get too maudlin and sappy, I will leave you there with being thankful for y'all. You guys make the channel for us. There's no channel without people watching it. Otherwise, we're just making cool sets for ourselves. So thank you all definitely for being here, for people who've just joined, for people who've been here since like the late 20-teens with us, and looking forward to just another great year moving forward. And Mark and I continue to be grateful to have you guys as part of our lives and who enjoy our videos and who give us feedback and don't even know how many bad days you save with your kind words. You really don't. So thank y'all for being here as always, and thank y'all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell. We get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Email and contact info is all below. Thank you, and we'll catch up with you very, very soon. Keep some gratitude in your heart. I'll try to be a little humble and do the same for myself, okay? So, thanks for watching. Bye. Say bye, Mark. Bye.